Hi everybody, Laura here for Honeybee Stamps. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a crafty themed project with a row of rainbow pencils to share with you. I'm going to start with the Let's Get Crafty stamp set. I've had this for a little bit and I've been dying to use it, and I knew I wanted to do something rainbow with that pencil. And this is my favorite thing to do. Take one object from a stamp set and use repetition, bring in a little bit of rainbow, and there you've got it, bada boom. So you can really use this same idea with a lot of your stamp sets. Take a look at what you got, find an image that you love, stamp it a bazillion times, color it in with a rainbow, forget about it. Okay, so I'm using my Misty so that I can just move the cardstock and I just kind of bump it up a half an inch to stamp a row of pencils. And now the nice thing is that you could just use this right as is because they're perfectly spaced and it's a straight row, but I'm going to end up with die cutting it because I like to pop it up, because dimension is life. Okay, my jingle is starting to take on a new life, and I'm not sure what to do about that, Sometimes it just, it just kind of morphs, Okay, so here's where I do a lot of Copic coloring. And I'm not really a Copic coloring specialist, but I will tell you one thing that works for me is I always work in threes. If I do it in three, it works for me. Everything's got to have a rhyme and a jingle. Should I sing that? When I work in threes, it works for me. Okay, so when I started buying my Copics, I just apologize right now for the goofiness. I bought them in sets of 3. And these are my go-to. So anytime, and I do occasionally, I've had a few throughout the years, ask me, what are your go-to Copic colors? Well, these are them. And I've got them memorized. I never thought I'd hear the day where I'd be laying in bed and be like, the BG10 and the YG01, those are my favorites. But I have them memorized. These are my go-tos. And, it's got one for the red, a trio for the orange, yellow, green. You see where I'm going. So you've got your favorites, kind of like your go-tos for clothes. I got a pair of black pants, bought them at Sam's. Probably, I'm not even sure if it's 10 years ago. Maybe not that long, but it's been a while, okay? They're my go-to capri black pants that I wear. I have a couple of them, and I wear them on rotation. And then I have a pair of black cropped dress pants. Okay, I'm not going to reveal any more pathetic information about my wardrobe. What I'm trying to say is, these are my go-to Copics. I work in sets of 3, okay? Then now I'm coloring in the little pencil part with the E50 and the E53. As you can tell, I keep it simple. I used to call myself the redneck Copic colorer. Years ago, I did a Copic coloring class with online card classes with Jennifer McGuire, Christina Werner, Kathy Rakusin, a bunch of other, like Sandy Alnack, master Copic colorer. And I was like the beginner instructor, like if I can do it, anyone can do it type of thing. And, one thing that Kathy Rakusin told me, and it stuck with me all the time, because sometimes I get tripped up about where to put the shading, where to put the light source. And she's like, Laura, here's what I'm going to tell you. Just go with the gut, go with the heart. Don't overthink it. It's not about all that. Get a little gradient love in there. Forget about it. I inserted the forget about it because everybody in my mind says forget about it. And that really helped me. Don't overthink the light source and the shading. Just go with the gut and have fun. And before you know it, you've die cut about 5 million colored pencils. They're not colored pencils. They're rainbow colored pencils. Now I have a panel of cream cardstock. I took some Post-it tape on an angle. That's just going to be like a guide so I can line these all up. And of course I put a little foam tape on the back and trying to eyeball the even spacing. And I'm going in rainbow order. And I had a couple left over. That's okay. And then when I get them all down, take off the Post-it tape. I'm going to take it off camera, trim off the excess hanging off the sides. Now here's the thing, orientation. Think about it, twirl it around for a good 30 minutes, then pop it down on a white card base. And for a sentiment, I'm using the Crafty, what does Honeybee call them? The honey cuts. The Crafty honey cuts. I'm going to do the word die in white and then the shadow in black. Now, a lot of times I like to stack up my white die cut because I'm not going to do it. But today, instead of stacking it, I'm popping it. You can stack it or pop it any way you want to go. Just get some air. But you know what? There are times when I just glue it one layer onto the base. And that is A-OK. So I'm popping this down, and I like a white on black. It's a great contrast on top of those colored pencils. And there you got a little popped up Crafty coming at you. So I'm going to glue part of this down and pop the end part up so you get a nice flat, even sentiment, because half of it's going to hang off. You know, you got to figure out where you need the extra cushion. Nothing like a saggy sentiment to ruin your day. Now I'm going to emboss a coordinating sentiment. Just hugs. Just doing crafty hugs. And you know, I got a lot of crafty friends who I could send this to. And I bet you do too. You know, because card makers like card makers. You know, so those are the best kind of people to send cards to, is to card makers. They're the ones who really appreciate it. They really do. One of these days, I'm going to get myself one of those personalized stamps for the back of my cards. Been wanting to do that for years. You know, like something that says like made by Laura Fedora or something like that. You know what I mean? But until then, I'm sending you some rainbow crafty hugs. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.